Remember the bell. Okay. Jai Ma. First of all, thank you for this wonderful gathering, this beautiful atmosphere. It was such a joy to the ears, pleasing to the ears, to hear Telugu in such a sing-song way. And almost it was like Godavari and Krishna flowing together. So I really enjoyed it. And thank you for the lovely bhajans. So there are two ways of looking at sadhana. So we have the story of Shiva, who is the Pratham Pujya. I think many of us from the Sanatana Dharma background are aware of the story. But to apply it today, so he has two children, as we know. The whole world is a child of all the gods, but one is Lord Ganpati, Ganesha, and the other is Kartikeya. And there is a task given to them. The task is to do a parikrama of the whole world, and whoever comes back first. So both go, and Ganesh is just sitting there. He says, "You're not going to." He says, "I'm sitting on Musaka. How do you expect me to compete with somebody who is on Peacock?" So it's a long foregone conclusion. He says, "Still you try." He says, "I have my plans in my mind. I'll do it." So at the end, Kartikeya goes, flies all around, and comes back. And he sees Ganesh is already declared a winner. So what he does is he goes around Mata Parvati and Shivji and says, "The whole world is in you. So if I have gone around you, I've gone around the whole world." So two sadhana is mainly follows two lines. One is the path where you work towards the divine conquest in this world. It's a wide journey, as we know Sri Aurobindo says in one of his aphorisms. There are two things perfectly pleasing to God in His servant. Is it okay in English or shall I switch to Hindi? Hindi will be better, no? English is okay? Okay. There are two things perfectly pleasing to God in His servant. Those who clean His temple floors in silent adoration. So, Ganeshji goes around, you are my world. Finished. The other is those who fight in the world for the great divine consummation in humanity. So there are these two approaches where one can either go about all in everything, bring in that light, or the other is centered around the mother. In both cases, one has to be centered around the Divine Mother. But there is a narrower path and there is a wider path. It's well known always in all literature. And based on one's predilection, one takes either of that. Still, we come back to the question, what then is truly us living the spiritual life? What is meant by living the spiritual life? Mother says it very simply that if you are, she speaks in context of love, it applies in everything. She says if you are an animal, if you have an animal consciousness, your love will be like an animal. If you have a human consciousness, your love will be like a human. If you have a God-like consciousness, your love will be like a God. And if you have the divine consciousness, everything that we do will be divine. So basically the whole question is, as long as we remain within this limit, it's like I may sit in this room and if I have never seen anything outside, I may discuss, contemplate, read any amount of books. But it will never be the same thing as when I actually step out and see. You know, if you talk about a swan, Hansa, to somebody who has never seen a swan, and you tell him that, look here, you know, there is a bird which is white, pure white, yes, pure white, and it has wings like this and it flies. And the person may keep nodding and say, yeah, I think I have understood. What is it? Kingfisher. So this is a problem when we read Mother and Sri Aurobindo because our mind is always comparing, contrasting our own ideas, viewpoints, opinions based on all that we have read. in traditional yoga. Here, this WhatsApp yoga is also very common nowadays. And therefore, we are really speaking, turning a swan into a kingfisher. Shobin's own words are, seen one way, this yoga from the goal point of view is the most difficult. Seen in another way, in terms of its method, it's the easiest of all. Shobin's words. And in synthesis of yoga, not after mother's physical arrival. So, what is he really referring to? If you think about the goal, this I have to change, that I have to change. There is this problem, there is that problem, and always there are problems. There are some real problems, but human mind has a capacity to generate more problems, to see more problems than there are. And doctors, capitalize on that problem, build their houses on other people's problem. There are already enough problems, but we have to look for a one-point solution. And that one-point solution Shobinda has given us so beautifully is the mother. When he was asked about the main sutra of life, of sadhana, what is the central secret? He said there are two secrets. And then he gave only one. He said to remain psychically open to the Divine Mother. So Niruddha asked him, what is that other secret? You said two, but you have never given that. He said to aspire for the divine life. Now if you just think about it, to remain psychically open, that's what comes in the mother, because mentally open means, all kinds of, mind goes into doubts, it wants to often, we cannot understand God's place. So the moment something happens which is not according to my idea of how God should behave, so we immediately start doubting. He's not God. Why he should behave like me? Somebody was very dear to me had corona and died of corona. Where is the grace? This is how the mind operates. No? That's called being mentally open. I accept things which are according to my opinion. So there are people who have a lot of questions like that. Like one of the things which you were mentioning, why there are no bhajans in the ashram? Why nobody is giving discourses in the ashram? All kinds of things. I said, that's your opinion. You want to understand what mother is saying, eat the mother. So the big challenge, one of the challenges of understanding is the mind is standing between us and the Lord and wanting to understand Him. The right approach should be that, mother, I don't understand your ways. My mind is baffled. And that's what Shobinda says, even the swiftest intelligence cannot understand. That's what the Kevin Upanishad is about. Even Indra cannot understand. Who is he? But it can always, with humility, give itself at the feet of the mother and say, I don't understand. Teach me. Illumine my mind. And she will do it. It's as simple as that. So what is the problem? Problem is mind's arrogance. Humility is important. I don't know anything. I may have read all the Shastras, but I don't understand anything. It's so difficult. That's why it's so difficult. Shobinda and the mother have said for a yogi to take to the yoga of transformation, because even he is into a kind of framework of knowledge. Frameworks of knowledge, schools of philosophy, everything we have read. And people who have read so much sometimes are the most difficult to. And that's why Sri Ramakrishna says that there is hope for two. And Sri Aurobindo also quotes it, re-quotes it, like nowadays we have retweet. So he says that there is hope for two. Who are these people? One, the learned person who realizes the limitations of all that he has learned and known. And second, for the unlettered peasant who doesn't know anything, so is ready to receive anything. So this mind with all its views, opinions, always is baffled. But if it takes the position, which should be the position of a disciple or a devotee, that I don't understand. I may have read everything, but I don't understand. But I seek understanding, she will give. And this transmission is in silence. There is a nice sloka in one of the Upanishads that I saw a wonderful drishyam today. So he says, I saw a young guru and an old disciple. And the guru spoke nothing and the disciple understood everything. Yes, look, what is Upanishad sitting at the feet of the master? Do we think he needs to explain to us by words? This is one of the biggest misconceptions. Probably if you are quiet and silent, he will make us understand much better. Mother would sometimes say, it's very nice when you people come and watch the movie. I can work upon you much easily because you are busy with the movie and I can enter into your consciousness and work. So to become quiet, first necessity of sadhana, this restless mind. And if you really look at it, why is the mind restless? 101 reasons. Desires make it restless. Passions make it restless. Little emotional twitching makes it a little pain somewhere. Oh my God, am I having cancer? We don't think of any lesser things. And if you are a doctor, the worse. As if it's a prestige issue that I must have a disease which has a fantastic name. And then you'll go to a very big doctor. I went to Manipal and saw this doctor. Sorry, I'm not getting any money for advertising. But, the bigger the doctor, nowadays it's a prestige issue to have a psychiatrist also. And even gurus have become a prestige issue. My guru is greater than. All this is such nonsense. Just to be like a child before her. Without clothes. That's what I am. I understand nothing. I am nothing. This is the problem, because to lose all that we are, this is the story of the gopis. This is the story of Draupadi. Shedding all attires. Holding on to nothing. And if you are very fortunate, then the divine will make sure that every little thing you hold on to is taken away. That's grace. We say, oh, how cruel you are. But the mystic will say, तेरी तलवार के नीचे में मच्छियां करके छैया छैया. This is the difference. It's the attitude which matters. The seeker is willing to do everything. It's like you're gasping for breath. No amount of Coca-Cola can satisfy your thirst. You're longing for that. That's the most important thing. How to long, how to awaken that aspiration. And as long as we are satisfied with things as they are, we are still in that little room or a big room of ignorance, of being Dr. So-and-so and Mr. So-and-so, and people take so much fascination in that biodata card. So, what is the worth of all this? At the end of the day, it is certifying your ignorance. When I came to Pondicherry, people said, you can join this hospital, that hospital, pay so much money, that money. I said, I've left the efforts to do this, to strengthen my ignorance. But people take a great pride in certifying ignorance. 3 times MS or whatever, MA, PhD, triple, double, D.Lit. It's all certifying ignorance. As long as we think this knowledge is sufficient, we are not ready for the other knowledge. The day we feel that this is not sufficient, it cannot, and see, very simple proof. And often I ask this of doctors, of scientists, can you tell me with all your knowledge of all the possible things that you know, can you say with certainty, can you predict the next moment? No. That's it. This is the state of ignorance in which we live in, which we call as knowledge. This is not empowerment. Nobody can say this. So then this need comes inside when we understand the limitations. That's what is called getting rid of the ropes or the teguments of the ego, teguments of the soul, which is the ego, the various things. Then the mind becomes quiet because it cannot be satisfied with all this. It seeks something higher, truer, beautiful. And in this seeking, say, yes, till the seeking comes, what do I do? Well, a little bit of refinement of nature through Sattva Gun helps a lot. That's how the Gita puts it, and Sri Aurobindo says, a high sattvic change. Sattvic change means I refuse this lesser thing. This is not worthy. This is still the ego, but sattvic ego better than at least the rajasic ego, a kind of idealism of nature. It helps. Idealism is nothing, not divine, but it helps us to move toward that. It helps us to take one step further. What Srinaji was just mentioning, animal and human. So at least if we can humanize or subticize the animal in us, so it helps to move because very difficult to leap from that state. And one of the simplest way to do it by the service of the Lord, whatever way. So when one is a servant of the Lord, or better still, slave of the Lord, then what happens? Slave has to be attentive to what the master wants. Otherwise, the story will be like that man whom the king and one of the reasons why God does not, why it is so difficult. So many people, Manushanam Sahasrena, which you were mentioning. Because sometimes if I take to that I want to do work of God, it may end up with, killing everybody who is a non-believer. They believe I'm doing work of God. So did that man who was king, took mercy, he said, you be in my personal attendance. When he said, I really don't need anyone. Maybe when I'm sleeping, you be around. He's sitting with a sword. If some enemy is coming, and there was a little fly moving around, he started doing sword brandishing, and the fly sat on the king's chest. And lo and behold, next was, you see, serving the divine also has to be with knowledge of what this service implies. It is an act of love, it is not the amount. So the key thing is how to step out of the room. The room is the room of ignorance in which we are locked in, where we have built systems, understanding all this. And we have to step out. As long as the consciousness is human, the consciousness is to change from human to the spiritual. That's the main problem. And how to do that? It's locked inside a framework. It cannot but operate within that. So psychically open to the mother means that we are ready now to come out of that frame. Otherwise, see, even at the vital level, the consciousness is a transactional relationship with the divine. Because our whole life is about give and take. So I have given to you, I want something from you. Divine will give, but that's not transformation. We may have a whole lifetime of relationship like that. Divine is divine, he doesn't mind. But that's not transformation. With the same, we may live in the ashram, we may do everything right. It's not what we do outside. Spiritual living is not about morning to night what I am doing inside, outside. I may jump like a monkey, but I don't become Hanuman simply because I am jumping all day around. Basically, psychically opening means to give oneself to the mother. Without questioning, without asking, without even wanting anything, not even realization, experiences, nothing. We have that lovely story of Amrita. On his birthday, mother says, Amrit, ask what you want. Amrita is sitting quietly and smiling. Okay, one step test. I think it was coming up somewhere that you are all right and you are beautifully turned to the divine to be able to one step test. Not big lecture, oh my God, he is somebody. No, none of these things. Not writing books. Not getting praise of human beings. Not being rewarded, Padma Bhushan and Padma Vibhushan. Simply the ability to smile at everything. Who can smile? Who is full of trust? And I give a simple example. If mother is always with you, if you are living with this idea that the Divine Mother is always with us, will even a trace of fear and anxiety ever come? Every time in the battlefield, Arjun has an issue. What does he do? I am rephrasing or putting my own words into केशव देख लेना थोड़ा मैं करता हूँ अपना काम बीच बीच में काना you know now what's happening. Yeah, okay, don't worry. And you don't have to say, because see, that's when वो तक्षक वाला अस्त्र आता है ना, he does it himself. Yeah, we have to just do what he has told us to do. And told us to do means we may be in any circumstance of life, maybe doing whatever field activity. It's not what we are doing, but the state, when we do it with this idea that this is mother's work, this is my puja, and this is my seva. And I'm doing it with this bhava inside, with concentration, with dedication. And rest is her lookout. What she will give, not give, withhold, not even experiences, not even realizations. So Amrita is sitting quietly. She asked 2-3 times, says, Amrita, I can give you liberation, transformation, ask anything. He's smiling. And people are looking at him, my God, mother has opened all the doors. This fellow is not asking. Then after a while, when mother says, again, she says, Mother, I need 2 banyans. So people ask, what a fool. He said, no, don't. She know everything that I need, she will give me. Whatever she thinks that I should be given, will give me. So why did you ask 2 banyans? She is saying so much, I have to obey her. So I must ask something. She's saying, ask something. So I've asked for 2 banyans. This is surrender. This trust that she is with me. This is faith. And these are not things which we can develop from outside. These come through the soul's journey, through evolution. But satsang is one way they can develop. And the simplest and the best satsang is reading the books of Mother and Sri Aurobindo. When you read, it's a satsang, faith will come. Keep the company of those who are full of faith. The Gita would tell us. Gita even goes on to say, man is his faith. And those who have faith will find Shraddhavan labate jnanam. Such important. And avoid the company of those who are full of doubts. This too the Gita cautions us, because when plant is small, it should be very careful. So when the sadhana is developing, one has to, when the spiritual consciousness is nascent, it's still like a little chick coming out of the egg. Then all this, in India particularly, we have marriages, festivals, then I'm going for this marriage, that marriage. I'm not against marriage. If you want to jump in the well of your own choice, it's okay. But my point is, marriages are fine, but don't make, when there is a choice, partying, all these things, gossip, mother says, how dangerous it is. All these are the real issues, that so much time, everything gets wasted. So it's important, because by her contact it will develop. There is no way that the baby is growing in the womb. Mother says the hen has to put a little peck and the baby comes out when it is ready. There is nothing like premature coming out of the baby. It's not a good thing. So baby has to develop, and all this is food for the baby, nourishing our inmost being through the work, through meditating, through thinking, by calling her name, so many ways to nurture and nourish this nascent spiritual impulse. And as we nurture and nourish this, food for this soul, then a time will come when it will be ready, and then the door she will open. Our task is to simply say, Ma, 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 Ma. Not with the impatience. No, why don't you open? No. That's lack of surrender. Huh? So very patiently, quietly, at least have the joy of calling her name, sitting in the room. One day the room will open, and then the consciousness begins to enter into the spiritual atmosphere. Then only spiritual living starts. It is not that morning to night what I am doing. It is the consciousness which determines the value or quality, whether it's spiritual or it's not spiritual. In a certain sense, everything can be done with a spiritual consciousness. Everything is actually everything. One need not specify. And even the highest so-called spiritual things can be done with the most ordinary consciousness. We have this beautiful, since I'm in this lovely land, I think some of us know the story of Krishna. What is its quality? It's very touching, no? The tears of Vishnu. And it has a purifying power in it. It has the power to purify. So I may go and take a dip in Godavari or Krishna, and with this idea that, I am bathing in those celestial tears, it will purify me. Water becomes only medium. But I may just say, what is all this nonsense? I am taking a bath, then I have just taken a bath. So too we can read these works of Mother and Sri Aurobindo, we can sit and meditate, we can do the work as an act of love. If I read Sri Aurobindo and the Mother's work, out of their love they have brought this out. Just see how much they have labored. Sri Aurobindo gave his eyes so that he can give sight to us. The least I can do is to, it's an act of love. So when we do it as an act of love, not as a compulsion, it doesn't help much, actually speaking. Even meditation, one may sit. Mother says some people do it as if they are paying their debt to God. भगवान डायरी में लिख लेना, आज मैं बैठा हूँ 20 मिनट, आधा घंटा बढ़ा दिया, 2 घंटा. ये मत पूछना कि किसके बारे में सोच रहा था. Somebody asked him, oh my God, he sits so much in meditation, so long. Sri Aurobindo smiled and said, yes, but he meditates on his wife. It's not what we are doing outside, it's what we are within that makes an act spiritual. And till we can arrive at a spiritual consciousness, after which, as the Gita says, whatsoever such a man does, whatever he speaks, eats, walks, it is me who does it in him. Till that, the bridge is consecration, the bridge is offering, the bridge is surrender. It's like from my side I am placing it. We all have it in our tradition. What is the difference between prasad and food? This is the difference. It's the same food we are eating, but we have offered it, so we take it as prasad. And when we take it as prasad, it's wonderful. It changes it. Something happens to the quality. This is something which we have to be. We are very lucky to be born in this wonderful land of Bharat, that we understand these things very naturally, that there is something called as quality behind quantity. And how does this seeking increase? When we understand the limitations. And then we have to also detach. This is so important from things. I cannot move out of the room even if the door is open. If strings are tying me back, the divine will open the door and say, come, let's go. There is a poem of Sri Aurobindo, The Dream Boat. Who was it that came to me in a boat made of dream fire? There is a luminous being. He comes to him and calls him, come, you'll come with me. And Sri Aurobindo writes, I mean, he's writing our state, so I calculated. Divine does only pyar, no vyapar. Huh? I calculated, what will I lose, where will he take me? Sir, can I come with family, saparivar? Am I invited with the whole? My wife can also come. No, nowadays, my husband can also come. What about my children? and grandchild. Can you take all of us together in the boat? Boat vanishes. He said, this is too much. No. पार्टनर तक ठीक है, अभी सपरिवार हमको जाना है भगवान के पास. So that's why these things, it's, always detachment is for a greater delight of existence. We cannot take one step toward the spiritual life if we are attached to things as they are. It's not about living externally, but to be attached to them as they are, continuing. Then there is no way. So to attach ourselves to the divine. How do I attach ourselves to the divine? By flooding our consciousness in whatever way. He is so lovely. One day we will fall in love. That's how in old time people used to make sure that the person falls in love. If you see old time Hindi movies, first the hero is saying and heroine is refusing. Ultimately she says, okay. So keep putting application. Keep calling her name. One day she will say, okay, come in. And that day we are finished. But don't cry after that, Lord, this is happening, that is happening. Well, I signed up for it. He will make sure, as Mother says, see why spiritual life is still so few. Mother says, if you turn to the divine and say, I am yours, and the divine says yes, he will see, he will not immediately say yes. You have to go through that phase, apply, no reply. Afterwards, it changes. Reply comes, then you apply. Meaning thereby, grace is already granted what we are aspiring for. Aspiration is only an excuse, formal excuse. So she says, if you turn to the divine, saying, I am yours, and the divine says yes, then there is nothing in the world that can hold you away. And if we try to cling, if we try to remain still attached, if the divine takes our decision seriously, he will snatch it away. And if he is still playing okay, fellow is not ready, then he will say, okay, play the old game. Something he will time to time teach us of the new game. But all that I can say before she rings the bell is that it's a beautiful game. It's not about where you reach. See, people put this supramental transformation as goal. It's a wonderful game to play with the divine, just to imagine, even to think, to live with this idea that Mother is with me as I go through life. If I'm stuck in the traffic jam, she's still with me, sitting next to me. If the flight gets cancelled, she's still there. If I am caught in the midst of dangers and difficulties, she's still there. If the food is very hot, she is there. To live life, keeping the divine at the center, near us, with us. And this is something like a bhava which has to develop inside. Mother's symbol has to be created within. Putting it as a sticker here and there everywhere, okay, it's okay. But real thing is to have it within. And what is the mother symbol? Center is the mother. That's it. Anything we are doing, center is the mother. To please her. As mother said to Dilip Kumar Roy once, because he was a little worried. He had doubts on mother, So after Shubindu's physical withdrawal, will the mother send me away or something? And mother tells him, we are not here to please ourselves. We are not here to please others. We are here to please our Lord, to please Sri Aurobindo. Just imagine to live life that way. What is it that he will like? What is it that I can do to make him happy? Okay, he is happy, every circumstance, fine. But what is my attitude? Because Nirodha said, why does the divine have to drink filtered water? He says, I understand, but why the dew should you give to the divine gem full of water? So he's always happy, always in bliss, is one thing, but to still, this is the joy. That's what bhakti is about. Bhakti comes from the root bhaja, to take joy. If one take joy in hearing the name of the Lord, if one take joy in looking at the photograph, if one take joy in whatever way in the name of the Lord, that is bhakti. It is not about jumping, dancing. And everything one does with this joy in the heart that she is with me and it is for her that I am doing it. This is the crux of the sadhana. Very easy, perhaps very difficult for the human ego. Very difficult to mind to believe. But I close by saying that all who have gone this way. One last little story, all who have gone, because this people say it's is it really that easy? Is it that simple that I'll take mother's name, center my life around the mother and things will be fine? Try doing it, see the difficulty. But yes, it is that simple. The stories of this man Rowan Nixon, Krishna Prem, who was in contact with Dilip Kumar Roy, and Dilip Kumar Roy would exchange of letters from him to Dilip Kumar Roy, and Dilip Kumar Roy to Sri Aurobindo, and Sri Aurobindo would ratify them. So he was a big mathematician. He came and he was in his little ashram in Almora. He was cooking. So somebody said, "Is this what will take you to God? You are a big mathematician from UK, London returned. You will do this and reach God?" And he says, "Those who have gone this way." Jai Ma.